All right, my friends, let's try this again. So this is, I've been doing a number of videos more than once, and this is a bummer to have to do this again because I thought the other one turned out really good. So I'm going to try and recreate it, but I'm going to try and speed things up a little bit because last time was a practice one. So I'm going to try and make this go pretty quick, and we'll run through this and just, yeah, kind of demo this stuff. Kind of what I'm looking for the final project. And it's, again, it's not a final project. It's just the last project. But I do think this is really important. And just because this method of delivering spatial audio and 360 audio is going to be the future, and not even going to be, it is right now. In fact, already I just got hit up. I'm actually potentially contracting with, not contracting, but going to be doing 2 shows, 2 live streams, but we're going to do 2 live streams in 360. One of them as a electronic, like, yeah, a DJ type live stream thing where we're gonna do like whole lights and mini festival thing, and then the other one's gonna be a punk rock band, and we're gonna do like, you know, like a band style thing. So and we're gonna be live streaming these probably on YouTube and Facebook. And I just looked up after I did the last lecture, looked it up, and indeed you can live stream 360, which is badass, which means you can do this stuff. So especially with the terms of AR, VR, and just all sorts of other avenues where this kind of tech is going to be well, again, it's on its way up, but it's out there, and this is going to be a really good thing to know how the tools work. So that's really what this last project is to go over, just to hear it, because I want you to hear it and work on the workflow and how to hear this stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what I'm asking you to do is I want you to audition these the Soundfield Road, Sparta, Deer VR, and FE360 decoders. I think that's all of them that I had in there. Oh wait, I'm missing the IEM one in there. Yeah, I had the IEM. Can't remember what it's called, but it's in there. So let's go through and let's go through the product and setup. And I want to use a couple things. I want to use, well, screw it. Let's just do it. Let's pull it up. So let me pull up Reaper, and let's just go through the session setup and kind of what I'm looking for. All right. So first thing I want to do is create a master track with 4 things, because we're gonna do first order ambisonics. We could go higher. Some of these decoders can go higher, but let's just stick with that for now. And let's do 4 tracks. So let's go ahead and drag these in. So I'm gonna use the stuff from that I recorded. So I'm gonna do this VO track, and in here we can use either the mix pre, or we can use the stuff for the Zoom H3N, which, by the way, I just saw was on sale today for $250. So that's a smoking freaking deal for that thing. If you have any inclination about getting into the spatial stuff, that's the thing to get. But I'm going to use this one right here, the mix pre, because this was VO. So let's do this as VO, and you'll see why in a minute. Let's do acoustic guitar and do the same thing. I'm going to use the MBX one here, but you could just as easily use the other one, which is, and in fact, I would love it if you did like check them out. Can you hear the difference between the 2 of those? Maybe I'll check them out. Maybe I'll pull them both up here in a minute. Actually, since I'm here, let's just do it. I'm going to only do this for the acoustic guitar one. I'm not going to do this for all of them. But let's just pull this in and see if we can hear the difference. It's going to be tough because they're going to be slightly different gains, but you can see if we can hear the difference between the 2 of those. And then I'm not going to do the train stuff, but what I am going to do is pull in some other content from the web. So Soundfield by Rode has this Amsonics library, which is pretty neat. There it is. Soundfield Amsonic library. So this is a pretty neat, I'm gonna see if I can get logged in here. So they've just got a bunch of stuff. So Rode came out with the Soundfield mic. I think it's like $800 or so. It's maybe it's a little less than that, but this is the one right here. Pretty cool. Might be worth looking into, but in terms of convenience, of course, go get the Zoom H3N. I'm gonna stick with, I've got the Ambio, which I like. It's a great mic. If I was gonna do it again, I'd probably get something like this, but I got mine before this thing came out. So let's go pull in some, I don't know, let's go get some sounds. Let's see what they've got. What's up? I don't know. I just did I thought I did sports. Let's do some ambience first. Let's do nature. Let's see what we got. I don't really want the water one. No, let's see. Let's do sound effects. I don't know. I'm trying to find something. I already have some stuff I can pull in. I don't really want these. Let's do weather. Sure. Let's just grab this thunderstorm. So if I'll download it, but then, oops, I don't want to open it. But if we click into it, you can actually on monitor. I haven't listened to it, but if we monitor it, it tells you a little, or like if you click into it, it'll tell you a little bit about how it was done. There it is. Thunderstorm 1. It tells you which mic they use, a little bit of description, 5 feet ground, heavily wooded area. Cool. And this is interesting right here. This is really important. No audio files are B format, MBX. That's not as important, but it was basically converted from A format to B format. So we don't need to know, and we know it's MBX to channel ordering, so we don't need to change anything from there. I think I still have a couple of the other ones that I downloaded, so we'll pull those in as well. So let's, did it finish downloading? Almost done. I don't want to open. Okay, so let's see what I've got. I've downloaded a couple. Oops, I can't remember. It's not that. I've got 2 Mac hard drives on here. Downloads. So I did this before. Let's zoom out a touch. Let's do the elephant bells, and which one? I just downloaded the. It's an ugly file name, but that's the one we just downloaded right there. That was the thunderstorm, right? Okay, so we've got elephant bells, and then this last one, what I want to do is I want to do a synthesized version of it. So let's do insert empty MIDI item, zoom in a bit, and let's drag that over here towards the end. I don't really know how to do shortcuts and markers in here, but good enough. And I'm just going to draw in some notes here. Oh, wow. It does a duplication. That's kind of neat. That'll save me something. We just need to create some sounds in there. And we'll come back to that one in a little bit when it's time. Let's take a look at... Oh, so this one I want to be doing a synthesized version. So the reason... So basically what I'm going through here is I'm going to make 3 ambisonic recordings that are recorded that way and test the decoders on that. And then I want to listen to a synthesized version where I'm actually doing the panning and listening to the decoding on that, seeing if I can control it to see how well it works. So let's add it. Let's load up our... let's see, this one needs to be also 4 tracks. These ones probably already set themselves to be 4, which is cool. And indeed they did. They automatically spread themselves out. So we did this one as VO, this is guitar. This is, I don't know, I'll call it Rode, just because those are the Rode ones. I call it this one synth. Okay, so in here, let's take a look at our different kind of decoders that we have. And I always forget the ones that I'm going to pull up my little list because. So let's start with the sound field by Rode. Sound field by Rode. Let's do the VST. Cool. Next up, Sparta. Let's see if we, oh wait, yeah. So it's going to be alto, which is Sparta. I think let's do that one. And DRVR. Talk about that one in a minute. That's fine. What else do we had? FP360. 2 big ears. Converter. And last up is the IEM. Let's do binaural decoder. Cool. All right. So let's crank through these things. I'm going to put my headphones on. Actually, I'm going to use my better headphones. Those ones work. The earbuds work pretty well, but I just want to try using this to actually, that might be a good comparison too, to see how well the imaging works between these 2 different headphones, like earbuds or over the ear monitors. So let's try it with these ones first. Okay, so I don't know what the return to 0 is, so I guess I just have to zoom out and track to the top. So what the first thing I want to look at is the first thing I want to take a look at here is, spread this out a little bit. I don't know how to not show that, but cool. Cool, good enough. Let's make this nice and big and listen to this thing. So what it's doing, let's just think about this. I want to bypass each one of these. I'll do that, right click on those. Bypass. So let's just start with one of them at a time, because that's bad to have all those going. Okay. Yeah. Like move it away from me, move it away from me, do a stereo version of it, and test the different kind of effects that go with this thing. So I'm gonna read the Shel Silverstein poem. I'm about wow. That is pretty crazy. Even just listening to that right now in my headphones. Let's turn up the volume on that. Like move it away from me. Okay. So let's think about this for just a minute, what we've got going on here. So we've got our 4-channel MBX. So it's already B format. And so this was tracked as B format. So it depends on your recorder and your rig that you have set up. If you're just using a Amazonic first order Amazonic mic, it's going to record in A format. My Sound Devices Mix Pre has the ability to convert it on the fly. So recorded MBX. I was going to actually record MBX and also A format at the same time. If you record in A format, you have to convert it to B format. And that's what, let's take a look at the sound field by Rode, this first one right here. And this is exactly what, why did that do that? There we go. So in here, what it's looking for is the input is NTSF1. So if you record, what they're saying is NTSF1, that's the microphone thing, but that also just means A format. This app used to be A format, like say A format, but they're really kind of, I mean, it's a Rode product and they give it away for free and it's a really nice one. So what the people on this page right here, what they said is they did all files of B format MBX set sound field by Rode plugin accordingly. What they're saying is they used this plugin right here, and what they did is they went NTSF1 to B format MBX, and that's what they went through this plugin and actually did this thing for you here. But we don't need to do that because we already have an B format MBX. So what we have to say is input is B format MBX. And actually, if you see that, change from left front, lower, left back, right back, which is the orientation of the tetrahedral mic capsules. And it turns it into, when I say MBX, it goes WYZX. And if we did FUMA, it's WXYZ. So this is important. So this is the one that we want here. And then on the output, we want to go, and this is what we're going to start with. Let's just start with stereo at this point. And let's press play and listen. Like move it away from me, do a stereo version of it, and test the different kind of effects that go with this thing. So, okay. So if you want to watch the 360 video that goes along with this, that when I did this, basically what I did is I had the camera up there, I had the zoom right there, and then I have the whatever Ambio mic right below it. And so that's what we're listening to right now is the Ambio mic. And when we watch this thing, we're going to see where the energy is coming from. And we're not binaural decoding this one. We're just decoding it to stereo. But that's what's so freaking cool about this thing. It shows that you can basically use one microphone and you can change the pattern of it and also the aiming of it. So when we watch this thing, like move it away from me, do a stereo version of it, and test the different kind of effects that go with it. We can see that the energy is coming in from over here. What that means is I had the mic actually angled a little bit wrong. So to correct that, if I wanted to, I could just go through, move it away from me, do a stereo version of it, and test the different kind of effects. Cool. We can actually even see that it might be, I need to aim it down because the microphone was slightly down below me. And I do remember that the microphone was actually below me. So if I want to pull the image up, I can just say aim that down. So this is essentially like aiming the microphone down. Move it away from me, do a stereo version of it, and test the different kind of. So I'm able to actually virtually reposition the microphone. And actually what this is doing is this is actually doing an XY with supercardioids in XY, and I can reposition that XY in post. And I mean, even if just listening to it, it sounds, so, it's weird to hear your own voice, but for me, it gives a pretty good stereo image. And it was done in this room right over here, just in this corner. It's a fairly dead room, but that was by design, so we can hear this thing. So what we can do is, if I want to change this thing, I can like, I think it sounds pretty good for a natural stereo. Move it away from me, do a stereo version of it. Let's move it forward. I'm going to do the poem stuff. This Sennheiser is pretty sensitive. It's like crazy looking fisheye. Okay. Anyway, now zip up your pants. We gave you a chance. There's the poem. Zip up your pants. Anyway, this is called the Gardener, or it's called Gardener. Right there. A chance. Let me zoom in a little. See if I can find the beginning of that one. Anyway, this is called the Gardener, or it's called Gardener. Yeah, right there. We gave you a chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way. Now zip up your pants. It's corny, I know. One more time. Again. We gave you a chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way. Now zip up your pants. That's a fun one. Okay. Draw a crazy picture. Right. This one's called Put Something In. Draw a crazy picture. Write a nutty poem. So that's 1.5 feet away. That sounds pretty natural to me. I think that sounds actually really good, like a pretty good sounding mic. So now what we can do is we can change the pattern. So if I want to make this, let's just go even straight down to mono. So if I want this thing to go mono, this one's called Put Something In. Draw a crazy. Totally heard the stereo field collapse. It's for just that. This one's called Put Something In. Draw a crazy picture. Write a nutty poem. Sing a mumble gumble song. Whistle through your comb. Do a loony goony dance across the kitchen floor. Put something silly in the world that hasn't been there before. I like that one. So now you can hear as if it were cardioid mics facing away from me as a speaker. So actually, it would be me, and you could hear that there's like a little bit of a reflection. Draw a crazy picture. That's because it's actually not far from a hard wall. So you're actually hearing that kind of comb filtery sound because it's actually we're hearing the reflections off the wall. I should probably pull that one back up. Draw a crazy picture. Write a nutty poem. Sing a mumble. See, that's really weird sounding. So we have the ability to change the position and the polar pattern. So what's cool, and I'm really excited, I haven't done this yet, is if you want to do, say, a singer-songwriter performance, you put a single microphone up there, you have them belting away, and then later in post I can aim one of them up to their I can aim a virtual mic up to their mouth, and I can add another stereo one and tilt it and have it on the acoustic guitar, and you can create an entire recording, multi-track recording with a single mic. And there's going to be no phase issues between those virtual sources because they're in exactly the same spot. It's the same source. But I don't know, it's trippy. It's super wild. And we have the ability, so we can take a single microphone, we can decode it to stereo and however wide we want to. We can do mono, we can change the polar patterns on this thing. We can either go down to 5.1, let's go to 5.1. So if we wanted to kick out to a 5.1 mix or something like that, that's as easy as it could be. So while I do think that something like the bike seat that we were using earlier in the semester from DPA is awesome. It's like $3,000. You can get the same thing out of these mics right here doing this. And so you could just go straight to 5.1, or even if you want to do quad. I don't think they have a quad in here, do they? But you could just do a 5.1 and just mute the center channel, right? So if you want to do a quad, you do something like this. It's not going to work in here. And then you could just not use that center channel right there. And you could totally adjust your thing. So it's mind-blowing. It's just really cool. We could even go to 7.1.4. So we have the height ones right here. So you can see this is the flat plane. And then, oh, wow, that's strange that they have the surrounds down below in back. Okay. But 7.1.4 usually means that, 7 in the flat plane right here and then 4 up top. This one should not be down below. I don't know why they had that one down there. And, but we're just going to keep it stereo. So draw a crazy picture, write a nutty poem. Sing a mumble gumble song. Whistle through your comb. Do a loony goony dance across the kitchen floor. Put something silly. That is magical. I think that is just one of the coolest things ever. This plugin is just pretty stinking cool. So just to be clear, again, we're not going to binaural. This is just going to stereo. So the cool thing is if you want to use this on stereo, again, put this up on any kind of source and then put it up on stereo speakers, it's going to sound good. All these other ones that we're going to be doing now, you would not actually put those up on loudspeakers because they have to go into headphones. This one can actually go to speakers because it's discrete out. It's not doing that. And if we want to change the polar patterns here, we can change let's do this. Let's go to mono. Listen to it. Draw a crazy picture. Write a nutty poem. Sing a mumble gumble song. Whistle through your comb. Do a loony goony dance across the kitchen floor. So we're able to remember this head is actually it's the microphone. So we're able to get really good isolation, like crazy good isolation. Draw a crazy picture. Write a nutty poem. Sing a mumble gumble song. Whistle through your comb. Do a loony goony dance across barely getting a little bit of the room in there, but it's pretty isolating compared to if I go all the way. Crazy picture, write a nutty poem, sing a mumble gumble song, whistle through your comb, do a loony goony dance, cross the kitchen floor. And then we could change it to, this is the dual polar pattern, and then this is if we just want to go with a single. Draw a crazy picture, write a nutty poem, sing a mumble gumble song, whistle. Pretty awesome. So that's the one. That's the one just to listen to, just to experiment with, and just to understand the power of what this can do for you. It's just awesome. So let's move on. Now, oh wait, actually, yeah. Let's move on to the other sound sources. So I want to keep that one open. Let's go listen to some acoustic guitar, and let's back this up, and let's go back to stereo, and to this one. And they were at 0.75. That's kind of the default one right there. So let's listen to what this acoustic guitar. So remember, like if you watch the video, I have the same setup that I had in here, but it's going to be me just playing on acoustic guitar, and I think I'm about 2 feet away from it. And the point behind this one is I did this in a very live sounding room, so let's listen to it. I want to hear the room. So what I'm doing there is I'm essentially virtually facing the microphone away, and you can hear that's a fairly live room. It's like kind of a warehousey room over there. That's why I did it. So now what you could do is you could if you wanted to record an acoustic guitar, you could pull in room mics later and adjust how much of the room you want in there versus how much of the front mic. Or you can actually, in the same case as this one, if we went down to mono, I could just target the acoustic guitar itself. So you can hear the. And I do think it'd be really neat. So you could take the targeted sound, and then you could take the rears, and then if you want to change them, like low pass the room mics a little bit and give it some ambience. So like with a single mic, you can get a lot of good sounds. This would be a little weird if you're doing this in like in a singer-songwriter situation, like a coffee shop or something like that, where you have the audience right there. It'd be like pointing the microphones right at the audience. If you have somebody sitting pretty close, it's going to cause some issues. But pretty neat. I mean, I think that's pretty stinking cool. Let's move. Let's see if we can hear this. So those are both using the Ambio, but this is going to be doing it with the other one. It's going to have a slightly different gain. It looks like. Or it's called Gardner. We gave you a chance to water the. I did that one on voice. Or it's called Gardner. Anyway, this sound. So try spinning this around. Move it away from me. Do a stereo version of it, and test the different kind of effects that go with this thing. So I'm gonna read a Shel Silverstein poem. I'm about I'll go about a foot away from the microphones, just because I'm trying to not do any plosives. I think that this Sennheiser is pretty sensitive, so I'm going to be about a foot away, just so you can, for reference. I know it's probably hard to tell in that. Dude, I think that sounds pretty stinking good for $300, $3,000. I'm impressed. And super duper convenient, super duper not convenient. So I just brought this whole rig up to the mountains last weekend, and I went out to go do some field recording, and I brought my expensive rig because I want to practice my craft with it, just because I want to do it. But I have to say, man, just pulling up that 360 mic and just sticking it up there works really well. Okay, let's move it on. Let's do these elephant bells. So. I don't think this one translates well for this kind of thing. expose. Pretty neat. So this one, I think these don't really translate well for this purpose, but they exist. So I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do the sound field with this one down here. We'll do that one with these other ones, because basically it's going to be just, I'm going to be panning something around in 360 space when I only have virtual speakers in this space right here. So that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I'm going to put that one away for now. Let's mute that. And let's go back to the top and let's do this. Okay, so let's start with this one right here. So Sparta, and let's give it a listen. So first order, magnitude LS, ACN, which is AMBX, SN3D. That's just the normalization. So this one, we can do the same thing. So I can adjust the yaw, pitch, and roll. So I can adjust, I need to turn it on. So I can adjust the yaw, the pitch, and the roll on this one. And let's give it a listen. So this is going to be, me doing the voiceover again? And this one is true binaural, so it's using all four of them, and it should sound like as if I'm standing in the room. The microphones, just because I'm trying to not do any plosives. I think that this Sennheiser is pretty sensitive, so I'm going to be about a foot away, just so you can, for reference. I know it's probably hard to tell in that I'm probably like crazy looking fisheye. Okay. Anyway, this is called the Gardener, or it's called Gardener. We gave you a chance to water the... So you have to turn on enable. Yeah. I was like, why isn't that working? Like crazy looking... This one's called Put Something In. So you're definitely getting a lot more room in there. You could hear a lot because it makes sense. It's as if I had a dummy head sitting a foot and a half away from me. And if you were in this room and I was speaking to you, you would have all this room reverb coming in as well. So sometimes you want that. It's going to give you a sense of space. And so we can't like mute that sense of space, but it's very natural. It's sounding, to me, it sounds pretty natural. So I can adjust, I'm kind of rotating it around, but it should probably only go like... This one's called Put Something In. Draw a crazy picture, write a nutty poem, sing a mumble gumble song, whistle through your comb, do a loony goony dance, cross the kitchen floor. Put something silly in the world that hasn't been there before. Roll pitch, yeah. Oh, that's cool. You can send it to OSC. And yeah. Here's some guitar. Performance sucks, and I mentioned it, but on the file. But I've not played a lot of guitar in a while, so I'm really rusty, really rusty with my guitar. And also, it stopped, like the video recorder stopped like halfway in, so that's why we only have a little bit. But that's not the point. We're just listening for the ambience and listening to the tone. All right, let's listen to these elephant bells. These might be loud. That's pretty cool. When you close your eyes, you can kind of hear them around you. That's pretty neat. It's Thunder one. Pretty neat sounding. I like that. So what you can see over here that we have using the default head related impulse response set right here, but you have also the ability to load up your own SOFA files. I don't remember what the acronym for SOFA stands for, but basically that is the the impulse measurement of your head. And so what you do is you can go through and measure your ears and get your head size, and you find one that's closest to your head. And in the not too far future, we'll be able to just do like photogrammetry and scan your head and create a 360 impulse, a derived 360 impulse of your head. But yeah, this is just using this one right here. But like, let's move on and let's actually turn this into, let's hear this thing. Yeah, that works fine. So I want to add some audio. Oop. Take a full screen here. Let's add whatever category, synth. Resynth. This is a sweet synthesizer that comes with, but who am I complaining? It's free. Should never complain about free stuff. Right. Let's bump that up an octave. Let's add some, that's just a tone. It looks like, let's add some square and some saw. Good enough. So all I'm really doing that is just I'm trying to find something relatively transient, something bright with a lot of harmonics, so that my brain can lock onto it. And then what I want to do is move this. So that's just it's passing its stereo down right now. So this doesn't make any sense. So we need to turn that into, because right now it's just kicking out, I believe, a stereo, but it's like mono. So it's just that. So it's sending it out over here, and it's getting misinterpreted in a funny way by this one right here. So, which I'm surprised is coming out. Let me hear that again. That it's coming. Oh, I get it. Why it's warped. Let me see. So let's think about that for just a second, because that's actually kind of an interesting. Why, to me, it feels as if it's coming out from over here, and the reason being is that it's using W as which is the amplitude, and then Y, which is going to be this one right here, and it's in phase, so it's going to come from one side. So it's basically adding the spherical harmonic plus one side, so it's going to feel as if it's coming off my left. So in other words, it's a misencoded ambisonic signal. So what we need to do is we need to encode this into something. So we're going to use the well, let's just go from here, 2 big ears, and we want to use the spatializer plugin. And this all allows to move things around. Oops, let's plus play. Now here. I'll just double check what we've got. So this is our position. We can do attenuation. So as things move away from us, it's going to get quieter. Directionality, I'm not going to worry about that. Doppler, we could try that out. These two things right here. So Doppler means if I'm moving it fast, it's going to give us, if it's moving away from me, it's going to pitch it down, and coming towards me, it's going to pitch it up. And the room is going to add room reflections in there. So let's try this out. So this is on a flat plane, moving it around. It's fun to test yourself. Like, where does it feel like it's coming from? For me, I don't know. It feels higher than it is. But if I want to raise it up, I can raise it up. Look at it from 3D. Oh, it stopped. And you can certainly see, like, when you have the visuals to go along with it, you buy it a lot more. So when you mate this 3D spatialization stuff with visuals, it's much more convincing. So if you can sell it when you're just doing it without 3D visuals or without 360 visuals or game visuals, it's if you can sell it that way and then you add the visuals, it gets a lot better. All right, so that does work. Like, so this is using the Sparta decoder, and let's add some room in there. Not here in the room. Not here in the room there. That's okay. Let's see if this works. Yeah. I mean, I suppose it might work. I don't love it. You can change the scale of this thing. We're only going out a certain amount. I think you can adjust the distance right here. It's 1,000 meters, but we're only seeing right here 4 meters. So you can zoom out on this. So now it's at 16 meters, 28 meters. Let's turn on Doppler. That's what I wanted to hear. Feels corny. It feels forced and corny to me, but it works. Okay, cool. So we know that it's working though, at least, and so that's our test there. Let's go back through it again. And so what we want to do is check out. Let's turn off Sparta. Let's turn on the Deer. Okay, so I want to talk about this one for a minute. So Deer VR. We didn't really talk about this one in class all that much. There's this company out there called Deer VR, and they're making a big push to do some pretty neat stuff. I don't want to I'll decline that. So they're making, basically, you can see they work, all 3 major platforms. They work in VR, and then they work with game engines and also with Fmod. Interesting. So basically the idea is that they're working, it's the problem right now with our tools in just normal production workflow is that we're trying to work in 3D with traditional audio workstations, and they're not really set up for that. These are most of our DAWs are built off of legacy type of workflows, like analog workflows. It still kind of bothers me that that's the case, that basically we still have faders, we have EQ knobs, we have all this sort of things, and we're trying to work in 3D. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense for us to use that same kind of workflow. So Deer VR is making a pretty good stab at it, and I think we're going to see more of these kind of interesting tool sets come around. And you're trying to use like a square peg in a round hole sort of a thing. And so what they're doing is they're trying to find ways to make it work. And they're pretty embedded with Nuendo, because Nuendo's pushing really hard for this sort of thing, but we're seeing that it also works really well with Reaper, just because Reaper has such flexible routing. Because that's usually the crux, is this routing. That routing of a lot of different audio signals is usually the issue. So just, did they have their little promo video? No, I mean, we could watch all that stuff, but I don't really care. Let's just see if they have the one little promo video. It's pretty neat.
Imagine you could visualize and control the mix all around you. To work in VR, AR, 360 video, or even stereo with a unique tool. This has never been done before, and it has become an absolutely revolutionary workflow now. But with Deer VR Spatial Connect, you just leave your headset on. You can control the complete digital audio workstation there. Media has changed to become immersive. So mixing audio has to become immersive and more intuitive too. That's why we created the mixing console of the future.
Pretty bold statements there, but I do think they're onto something. My buddy and one of our grad students, he has built an entire record label, a 360 spatial record label, DX5, based around this, and he uses these tool sets right here. What is he using? I want to go this way. He's using DVR, but one of the cool things is they have this. Let's see, products. They have DVR MB Micro, and it's just it's a decoder, which that's what we have right here. So let's take a look at it. And this is a pretty interesting one. It's pretty neat. So it's just a binaural decoder. So it's taking input B format MBX first order ambisonics, 4 channels, so we can go up to higher ones if we have higher channels, but it recognizes that it's on a 4 channel. And we can also talk about the mic position. So we can re-rotate, so yaw, pitch, roll. Same thing we have just ability to change before. This is all the stuff that's in the Sennheiser Ambio, which I didn't show, but I mean, there's also the Sennheiser A to B format converter. So let's see, I guess VST3 is fine. So this is basically how you bring it in and turn it from A format to B format. So this is, again, front left up, front right down, back left up, back right up, and then converting it into AmbiX over here. And you can change the orientation and then of course do the rotation. This one only has this one. It doesn't have it only has angle. It doesn't do pitch, yaw, and roll. But it's cool. But this one, let's listen to it. So let's put it to work for us. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's listen to voice. Oh, this one's neat though, because it's saying Dear VR binaural, but you have your different ones. We can do YouTube VR, Facebook 360, and the K100, which is the Neumann one. And then we can kick out AmbiX again if we wanted to. So you can take an AmbiX, re-rotate it, and send out AmbiX if you wanted to as well. So if you were like need to rotate your image so that it matches the visuals, you can just use this as well. So let's listen to it.
A chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way. Now zip up your pants. Okay, one more time. Again.
Oh, it's not on. There we go.
Good chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way. Now zip up your pants. Okay, one more time. Again. We gave you a chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way. Now zip up your pants. That's a fun one. This one's called Put Something In. Draw a crazy picture. Write a nutty poem. Sing a mumble gumble song. Whistle through your comb. Do a loony goony dance.
So you can definitely hear the difference between the different timbre and those decoding techniques. So it's not just like basically it's not a done deal. Let's listen to what the acoustic guitar sounds like this. This goes back to the ear. The Facebook one really changes it. Between YouTube and the Dear VR, there is definitely a timbral shift there, but it's much more subtle. The FE360 seems to really hit it pretty hard. Let's listen to the elephant chimes. Cool. All right, and now let's go through and I should quiet. You can definitely hear the timbral shift, but positionally they're all the same. But timbrally, they have a slight different version on each one of the different decoding outputs there. Cool. So that's Dear VR. Let's do the FP360 real quick. And let's go back and go through and just demo these things out. We'll wrap it pretty quick after this. So this one's coming in. So it says selecting B format AmbiX third order. It doesn't really matter. I mean, we could do second order, first order. Like we're using first order, so it just means that it's only gonna use the first 4 channels of, in this case, the 9 channels. So it doesn't really change anything. We can do again pitch yaw rotation, change the angle, adjust the gain, and we want to go output on binaural right there.
We gave you a chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way.
Once again, forgot to turn it on.
We gave you a chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way. Now zip up your pants. That's a fun one. This one's called Put Something In. Draw a crazy picture. Write a nutty poem. Sing a mumble gumble song. Whistle through your comb. Do a loony goony dance. Cross the kitchen floor. Put something silly in the world that hasn't been there before.
Cool. works. Let's do guitar. To me, that reverb even sounds synthetic to me. And that's the true reverb in that room. And let's do some bells. Actually, I think that one has some pretty good sound. Pretty good sound. I kind of like that one. And then we have our... I should automate it and have it fly around in automation, but I'm too lazy to do that right now. All right. And then the last one we want to look at is... bypass. Is this binaural decoder by EM. So this one's kind of neat. And this is why I wanted to wear my headphones now, because it's coming in SN3D, which means MBX. Sorry, I think it is just, it's supposed to be MBX. And auto first order. So you could define that. That's kind of cool. It's smart enough to know that. But this one is neat because you can choose your headphone equalization, which is why I wanted to wear this, which I'm doing. So I'm wearing the ATH-M50s right now. So actually, I'm going to hear it with and without the EQ and see how well convincing this is. So this one, you can't repan it. So if you wanted to reposition it, you'd have to use something upstream from it, like the FV360 we were just using.
This Sennheiser is pretty sensitive. So I'm a good chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way. Now zip up your pants. Okay, one more time. Again, we gave you a chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way. Now zip up your pants.
I do think it improved it a little bit. Like it definitely, like, I lost the low end, but it does give me my imaging gets a little bit better. It feels a little bit more like it's right in front of me, like that sound or that person, which is me. This one takes in OSC, which is interesting. So if you were working with, like, on this DRVR right now, or actually this, like, if you have a head tracking device, this one can't do it, but which one could we do it with there? The Sparta one? Yeah, the Sparta one right here, you can actually adjust it. So if I were to wear a head tracking device, it'll automatically adjust the pitch on the roll so that your image stays in the same spot. And that's when you have the added head tracking bit, it really locks in and will really help define and lock in where that position is, because you have the ability to close your eyes and like move your head around, and that the image will stay the same. Right now we're doing headlocked, meaning the whole world moves when I move it. Like if I have that acoustic guitar and I look over here, the acoustic guitar moves with me, and that's a bit of a problem. But it'd be kind of interesting to go through and listen to this. I think it works pretty well without it.
A chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way.
That's cool. And then of course we can do the last thing right here. So we're doing a synthesized version of it. I should automate that thing, but it feels a little soft on that one. Let's turn that one on to ATH-M50s. Yeah. So that's really what we're looking for to do here, is just basically go get comfortable with this workflow, understand the tools, because when you understand these tools and you understand the workflow and the signal flow, it makes your life a whole lot easier, and it also just opens you start to realize the creative possibilities with this sort of stuff. So your job is to do essentially what I just did right here, but with your own content. What I would say is use, of course, the VO and the acoustic guitar for the content I gave you, and which is why I recorded that content for that. And then you can use your own download of something from the Rode Soundfield library. Go explore. There's some weird ones in there. There's sports ones, water ones, and using the Rode one, you can actually aim your mic later and listen to it, or you can just put it on and listen to what it would sound like if you were really there and see, does it work? Does it sound as if you were really there? So this is also works really well for music as well as for post, and also for other things like video games. And I don't know, there's just going to be a lot, there's going to be a lot of movement in this area. So that's why I want you to get comfortable with this stuff, because the future is here, my friends. All right. Good luck. Have at it. And I will see you guys on the flip side.